Video on the series on effect of temperature on the states of matter. Now, in our last video, we learned that when heat energy is added to a particular atom, when you add heat energy to an atom, its amount of energy increases. The amount of energy that it has, it increases. This means that atoms can store energy in them, but this energy is converted into work. So the atoms that have more, that have gained heat energy or any other form of energy will perform more work. They will show more amount of motion. They'll be able to move other things better. So we did this in our last video. In this particular video, we will observe that when heat energy is added to any particular state of matter, be it a solid, be it a liquid, or be it a gas, if you add heat to any of these three states of matter, the speed of the motion of the atoms will increase. The speed of atoms in these states of matter will increase. Now let us just go back to the simulator and observe what happens when we add heat energy to it. Also later we will learn what happens when heat energy is removed from these states of matter. Now back to the simulator. Now here is our simulator and let us choose solid state, the first solid state. So this is ice basically. So what I've chosen is ice. The temperature is minus 127. This is too low temperature. Now remember, liquid water turns into ice at 0 degrees Celsius. The formation of ice starts at 0 degrees Celsius, and any temperature below that, the ice will be formed completely. And above 0 degrees Celsius, when I say above 0 degree, I mean 1 degree, 2 degree, anything above 0 is in plus, but below 0 is minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, and here the temperature is minus 127. Now let us observe what happens to the speed of atoms when we heat them up. So observe. So this is basically ice. Water in the solid state is ice. Inside ice, the atoms appear like this. I will call them water molecules. So each of them is a water molecule with two white heads and one red center. This is a water molecule. So these are different types of atoms that have combined together. Now what happens when I add heat? Let us observe the motion. At the moment, these water molecules or the atoms in water, they are simply vibrating. You see, they do not have much space to move around, even though you may see space inside, but then they are not able to move around much because of some other reasons also. But at the moment, they are not able to move around much. They are vibrating. What happens when I add heat energy? Let us add heat. Let us add heat and okay. Now, what has happened to the speed of motion? We are at 2 degrees Celsius. We've added a lot of heat to it. And you see now they are able to move much better, right? There is greater deal of motion. What happens when I heat them up more? Well, let's add more heat. Let's add around 80, 90 degrees. You see, now some molecules are even moving away from the others. They've got so much of energy, right? And let's add more heat. What do we see? It's 121 degrees. Now the degree, the amount of motion or the speed of these molecules and also the degree or the rate speed of motion is way too high compared to when they were in the solid state, coming back to the solid state again, right? So I hope in this particular video, I have shown you amply clearly that when heat is added to a substance, the speed of motion, the speed of movement, motion or movement of the atoms increases. And can you just guess now what happens to the speed of motion of atoms in any particular state of matter when energy is removed? Well, if you couldn't, or if you did, let us still visualize. So let us have the gaseous state of water. So this is steam, okay? Water in the gaseous state is called, clouds are the gaseous state. What happens when we cool them down? So cooling something means we are taking heat away from them. So we are snatching heat out of it. So let us use ice and snatch or steal the heat that they have away. Now, can you see the speed of motion of the molecules? What happens when I cool down the steam? When you cool steam or when you cool the clouds, when you cool the water vapors to say, they come closer to each other, right? Their motion, their speed slows down. So I hope we have learned in this particular video, the second point that we intended to learn is that when you add heat energy to any particular state of matter, the atoms that make that state of matter, or which is to say solid, liquid or gas, the speed of the atoms increase. When you remove heat energy, the speed of the atoms that make any particular state of matter decreases. I will see you in the next video where we will learn some other point.